On this video, I'm going to be talking specifically about healing from sexual assault. I'm going to be breaking down some of the best tools that helped me working through these things. I'm also going to be sharing some of the tools that did not work and help create a plan for you if this is something that you too are healing from, trying to release, trying to let go of. This video is really going to help you with that. Hey, welcome back to another video. My name is Cara Michelle and I'm here to help you live your truth. And this is something that sadly, with the Me Too movement, with all the conversations that have been coming to light over the last few years, women are realizing, and I mean, I guess I know there are men who experience this as well. So in general, we are realizing as a collective that this is very, very common. And the people who have also experienced different kind of sexual harassment, sexual assault, invasions of their privacy, this is way more common than we think. And hopefully, ideally, one day we will live in a world where this isn't so common and where people are respected as equals and aren't taken advantage of or whatever. Let's not even get into that. But hopefully one day we live in that world, right? But until then, if you're someone who is struggling with this, you're trying to let go, heal, move forward, show up and shine your light as the best possible version of yourself, then this video is really, really going to help you do that. I'm going to be sharing a lot of these things and they might look very simple on here. I'm going to break them down and share exactly what can help you. So number one is to realize that it is not your burden to carry all alone. And this is a really hard thing because sexual assault, trauma like that, it really makes you feel so helpless and powerless. And especially for women, so many of us feel like it's our fault. I know I did. And we take on this mentality of like, it's our fault that this happened to us and we must have done something wrong and nobody's going to believe us or support us and it's not safe for us to speak up and share what happened to us. There's a lot of stigma and fear and shame around saying what has happened to you, and all of these things keep you staying stuck in a really small place and in a really negative energy. So one of the best things in order to start your healing journey here is that you have to open up. So whether you have a friend, a family member, or you go to a therapist or something, a coach, something that is going to allow you to open up in a safe space so that you're not carrying this. Because think about it like a pop bottle that gets shaken up and it's about to burst. The more you carry this internally alone, the more it's ready to erupt, and like it's creating a lot of dis-ease in the body that's gonna have to find its way out somehow. So I know for me, it was really scary to open up and to be so vulnerable, to share what had happened. I felt really embarrassed. I felt like there would be shame, or like other people would blame me and say it was my fault, or come up with a million reasons why I was irresponsible in ending up in this situation, when in reality is it's never the victim's fault. There is no reason that victims should be getting blamed for someone else overstepping their boundaries, taking their power away from them, and not listening or respecting their voice, right? No matter what your situation is, you did not cause it. It is not your fault, okay? So let it out, release that burden so that you can let go of the heaviness of it. And I think also when we are vulnerable, when we open up, we realize we really aren't alone. I remember telling one of my friends, the first person I told, and she had been through a really similar thing. And so unfortunately, that was something we bonded over, and it felt a bit safer to know that I wasn't alone and that she could understand where I was coming from and how I felt from it, okay? So step number one. Step number two, journaling. There is a beautiful, beautiful video out there, and it's all about how, think about when you get a birthday card or a Christmas card from someone, or a little note, right? The energy in that note is filled with love or positivity. Someone was thinking of you, right? And it feels so good and it means so much to you to receive that. Now, vice versa, or like on the opposite end of the spectrum, If you journal and release negativity and pain, and you let out this anger, and you write that letter to the person, or you write out how you felt and all the things you're carrying, you are getting energy out into that paper. And then on an energetic level, if you rip that mother paper up and you burn it and you do something to release that, it does work, okay? There is a lot of power behind this, because the energy of the thoughts, the energy of your words, the energy of your intention carries power in your life. Just like if you have positive thoughts and positive energy towards something, it's very like positive for lack of a better explanation. The same thing when it's negative. So you can release these things through journaling. I do not believe that you should send it to the person, but I do believe you can get that out and clear it out on a certain level. Does that solve everything 110%? No, obviously not. I'm not crazy. I'm not going to say that's going to make it really 1,000 times better, but it does help, okay? Next one is Reiki, the chakras, and energy work. And this was something that really changed everything for me, because it really connected me to myself, to my soul. This was like the whole beginning of my whole energy work journey, was actually working through sexual assault and releasing the trauma. And I had a lot of blockages in my chakras, because whether you know much about them or not, they are energy centers, right? And we've got right here, let's see if I can, we've got my little like thing, right? So the red one is your root chakra, and then all the way up, and the purple one is your crown. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. This is hard work. Okay, the purple one is like your crown chakra up here, right? So we have these energy centers that make their way up through the body, and when you do work, when you have been sexually assaulted, the bottom two tend to be very blocked, possibly even up to the third. And if the energy is blocked on the lower chakras, it doesn't allow the energy flow to move all the way up to the top one, right? So we want to be releasing. It's like the Kundalini energy, which is like what I have here, your Kundalini energy that starts in the base of your spine and makes its way all the way up. So if there's a blockage somewhere in there, it's not flowing properly. Your body and your energy field are not working as like high as they could be. They're not working optimally. I'm having a total mental block right now. So Reiki and energy work is really about clearing the blockages. You think of it like acupuncture and the meridians that they use, the meridians that go through the body, right? Same thing with energy meridians. So if there's something that's blocked in a certain energy center, you can clear that through Reiki and through different energy techniques. So that will really help you to create the normal flow again. Then the next one is mindset. And we talk about this a lot. I talk about it very, very in depth in my free mindset training link down below, in creating a new identity. So my mindset for a long time was a victim of sexual assault. And that was something that, even though I hadn't told anyone about it, I knew what had happened, and I was walking through every single day carrying that, right? And that's a heavy thing to carry. That's a really deep deep label to carry. So you're very strongly identified with this, and you believe that this is all that you are. Quite often that's what trauma does. It really makes us identify on such a strong level. Sorry, I have a tickle in my throat. Okay. So when you have this identity and this belief about who you are, your mind continues to tell those same stories. So just as it could continue to tell the story of a victim of sexual assault over and over and over again, it could be continuing to tell the story of unworthiness, of I'm not good enough and I didn't deserve anything better. Or like, of course that happened to me and that's just all that's meant for me. And those kind of identity, those kind of beliefs keep you trapped in that identity. And you know what? It keeps you continuing to attract things that match that. When I had those beliefs about myself, every single guy who came into my life matched that. And I continued to attract people who didn't respect me or treat me well. I continued to then feel worse about myself and go like, wow, I really don't deserve anything better. And why does this keep happening? And then I'd go somewhere else and I'd really feel like, you know what, I'm going to start fresh. This is going to be different. But because I still had that unworthiness and that deeply ingrained belief about not being good enough and not ever having like that positive interaction, then I continued to put out that energy and put out that vibe. And it's like people pick up on that. There's something subconsciously, there's something energetically that you are projecting all the time. And so this is not to blame you for your circumstance, but it's to warn you that if you do not heal these things, you will continue to attract similar situations. And I personally believe that's because these things are here to help you learn and grow and rise up. But if you're not learning and growing and you're staying in this energy of, I deserve it, I'm not good enough, this is all that there is for me, well, you're going to continue to attract that, right? So we really want to do the work to understand this and to let go of it once and for all, so that you can actually attract positive people and partners and like people who actually love you and believe in you versus people who are trying to take advantage of you and keep you small, okay? When you rise up into your power, other people respond, and you also attract people who respect you for your power. But when you stay small and feel limited and unworthy, you're going to attract people who see you as someone who is unworthy and limited and small. So they're going to treat you exactly the way that you're feeling, and it just reinforces that and keeps you stuck there, right? So this is so, so powerful to work through and to heal if you want to break out of that pattern. Then the next one we have is meditation and subconscious reprogramming. So adding on to what I just said before, right? Meditation can be really powerful for releasing these things because these are subconscious blocks. Now, let's rewind to way, way, way back before your trauma or sexual assault or harassment or any of that happened, and you were a child. Now, as a child, pretty much every single one of us has stories of not being good enough. That is the number one most common limiting belief that keeps people stuck. And the way that this shows up in your subconscious mind is that you continue to tell the story of your unworthiness. And Abraham Hicks has a beautiful quote about somewhere along the lines you were taught that you are unworthy on the way to worthiness. And that's wrong. You have never been unworthy. You always have been more than enough. But on a subconscious level and in those deepest, darkest parts of your mind, there is most likely a story playing that tells you you are not good enough. And this continues to affect your relationships, your career, your lifestyle in general, your mindset, your beliefs, your confidence, your abundance, because if you don't believe you're deserving or good enough, you cannot receive any of the best in life. So through subconscious reprogramming and different meditation practices, we can really get down into the root cause of these things, and hypnotherapy is another great example because that can go really deep into your subconscious, right? And personally, I had a deep hypnotherapy experience. Oh my gosh, I keep having a tickle in my throat because of my coffee. This is why I don't drink coffee. Just kidding. That's not why I don't drink it. But I don't know what's happening right now. So I had this hypnotherapy experience a year ago, like almost exactly a year ago, where I went all the way back into my mother's womb, and I could feel the energy of her being upset with my dad because he was so busy with his business and his work, and he wasn't around very much for her and for my brother and for me in her belly, right? So I had this really, really powerful experience feeling this anger, feeling this energy of not being good enough because he was choosing work over me. And it really made me realize how much this impacted my beliefs for the rest of my life, because I've always had this searching with my dad of like just really, really wanting to feel like I'm good enough for him. And it's not that he's ever made me feel like I'm not, but because of these certain things that I always was aware of and picking up on and seeing him prioritize work first, I always took on the belief and the role that I wasn't enough and I was second or third or last, right? And so then all these things happened as I got older that reaffirmed those subconscious beliefs and kept me feeling that way. Now, we all are going to have different stories from our childhood. We're all going to have different subconscious blocks around this. But if you've been sexually assaulted or sexually harassed and you're in this boat, you're watching this video, I would highly recommend looking back at your childhood and looking back at times where maybe you believed you weren't good enough at school, for your parents, for your siblings, for your friends, anything that reinforced the belief that you weren't enough. And like meditate on that, right? Journal on it, do all these different things, clear it out, change the belief, look at it. Was it actually true, or was it a story I just continued to tell myself? Because the more awareness you can create around the different times that this belief showed up, the more you can release and heal and start to tell a new story of being more than enough, which is going to allow you to then in turn also work on this specific trauma story or sexual assault story and see that you were more than enough. You were never worthy or deserving of such a horrible thing to happen. And by building your confidence and your self-worth, you're going to call in better experiences, because everything in the physical reality is a reflection of your internal beliefs and your energy. So if you are blocked and held back by past trauma and experiences like this, then you're continuing to attract and believe that that's what is true for you, and that's what's going to continue to show up and reaffirm things for you. So we need to tell a new story, and this is a really powerful way to do that with the subconscious work, meditation, different energy tools. Again, watch the free mindset training, because I talk about this in way more depth, and I share my 3-step process that I use with my clients, so that will help you so much as well. And the last one is identifying and releasing patterns and self-reflection. So I've kind of talked about this a little bit, looking at the patterns in your life where things like this have shown up. Maybe even before the assault happened, there were patterns of you attracting people who didn't really treat you well, or patterns of you self-sabotaging potential positive relationships. That was a big one for me. Any guy who actually was nice and was interested in me, I like put my guard up and I was like, no, because I felt like I'm not good enough for them. And so I would sabotage and be like, I can't do this. It's not going to work. Like, let's not even try. I'm going to let them down, or whatever it was. And I'm going to feel bad about myself. And so I would put this guard up and push them away. And then when people came who didn't really respect me or appreciate me, well, they matched my own personal beliefs. So it was easier for us to like meet on this level, whether I was aware of it or not, because they were just kind of treating me the way I had been treating myself, with lack of respect, to be honest. So when you identify and release these patterns, you can start to create new patterns. So again, confidence, creating your dream life comes from knowing that you're worthy. And I know I'm not talking about creating your dream life on this video. I'm talking about healing from assault. But in order to break out of those patterns and out of those identities and beliefs that you have about yourself, to rise up and create something better and attract someone better and really have what it is you want, it comes from releasing this and creating a new story, okay? And knowing that you deserve better. So the story of your worthiness is going to impact everything in your life. And I really hope that you can try out some of these tools, give them a shot, do some clearing, do some healing, do some releasing. If you want to talk about how I can support you, make sure you check out that free mindset training and then book a call. And if you want to talk about energy work even and different ways whether it's through like my mindset coaching and my 90-day program, whether it's through energy work and Reiki and healing, whatever it looks like for you. We can create a new story, we can create a new place of empowerment, but it all starts from within and from knowing that you deserve better. So if anything, I hope you walk away from this video knowing that you are worthy of so much more, and your past and your old patterns and the trauma and things that have happened to you do not dictate who you are, and they do not have to dictate what's possible for you in the future, okay? So if you found this video helpful, please hit the thumbs up. Please make sure you subscribe, turn on the notification bells, share this with someone who will benefit. If you know anyone who's been through this themselves, please share it. We're not alone and we can all heal together, but it starts from within. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.